Welcome back to WD Magiccast for the week of August 13th, 2023. This is episode 233. WD Magiccast, the show about the mouse, the Marvels, the galaxy, and beyond. I'm your host, Matthew Graken. In this week's show, another very bizarre episode for WD Magiccast, where we just recently had an episode of just me, an episode before that of my entire family, and now you get an episode without me. Yes, after the announcements, you will not hear me again until the end, because this week, one of our favorites, Dave Gallman, is walking around about and talking to you about Pop Century Resort from Pop Century Resort in Walt Disney World. This is a fun episode. Props go out to Dave for taking on this responsibility. He said, "Hey, I'm going on vacation. I'm going to spend a couple of days in Walt Disney World. So you're going to be without me." I said, "Hey, while you're on Walt Disney World, why don't you do some work for us?" He said, "Okay." And I've listened to most of it, and trust me, it's a lot of fun. I think you're going to enjoy this episode. So without much further ado, here's our episode about the walkthrough of Pop Century. Make sure to let us know what you think of this episode. Find us on the social networks at WD Magiccast on X, Twitter, whatever it is now, Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok. We're out there. Follow us. Let us know what you think of the episode. Give us a shout out. Also, make sure to check out our awesome WD Magiccast shop. Links to all these are in the show notes. We'll be back in a moment.
Hello everybody and welcome to the WD Magiccast. Usually you would have your host, Matthew Grenken. But this time you have his co-host, Dave Gallman, filling in because I decided to venture out and go to Florida and stay at the lovely Pop Century in Lake Buena Vista for a few days. And Matthew asked me to do a little walkthrough review for you guys. So I said, why not? Even though it's 100 and something degrees out here in sunny Florida, which is always the plus of coming out here in August. So anyway, Pop Century. If you fly into the Orlando airport, MCO, I suggest taking the Mears transportation. They used to have the Magical Express, I believe it was called. Now it's Mears. It's a wonderful thing to have. Get your bags off out of the airport, bring it out to the bus. Well, you find your way through the bus transportation at the airport, which will take you to the Mears section. They'll tell you which bus to go up on. They take your bags, bring you to the to your resort. But pay in mind that depending on the route of the bus will depend on how fast they actually get to you. So just prepare for maybe about a 45 to an hour ride once they pick you up, because the bus could also have to go to a different terminal to pick up other customers going to the resorts. So it's not like the one bus takes you from just directly to Pop Century. It's going to go to basically all of the resorts. So just bear that in mind. I know once you land, everybody's excited to just start their vacation, but it could take a little bit of time. But I do highly recommend Mears. I've done it twice and I've had zero issues with them. Buses are clean, haven't had any nightmares of any kind. So that's that. So now when you get to Pop Century, they're going to drop you off at the main office building, which, hang on a second. Okay, yes, so they're going to drop you off at the main entrance at the Classic Hall, I believe it's called. Now, if you have the Disney app and you check in through that, you don't even have to go into the Classic Hall if you don't want to, because you can just go straight to your room. Once you land, you will get a text message to your phone that will tell you your room number, and you can go straight to there. So the app is a wonderful thing to have because it takes away that aspect. Because you used to have to go, check in, get all that settled, and then you go to your room, and now it's boom. Check in through your phone, you land, they text you your number, and you go straight to your room. It's the same thing with the checkout process. They'll just email you, if you had any expenses or something like that, they'll email you your final bill. As long as you have no issues with the charges that they send you, you just exit and go back to the airport to go home. There's no, so you don't have to go to the front desk to check out either. So that's a wonderful thing about having the Disney app. So I highly suggest people getting that. But they do have in the Classic Hall is also where you can get souvenirs. They have souvenir cups that you can get. This year they have the 100 celebration cups that you can get. They're $22, $21.99, so $22, and they are refillable for your whole entire stay. Again, I suggest that too because it's worth it. You can get unlimited refills and coffee in the morning. If you're a coffee drinker, you can get that. So the refillable souvenir cups are the way to go when you first get there. And I do believe you can order waters and stuff like that from, the favorite apps that are out there, and they'll drop it off. And, at the Classic Hall, and you can go pick them up, bring them to your rooms. If you're going in the summer months, that's probably the best thing to do is get yourself a couple cases, depending on how long you're staying. If you're in August, you're going to want a lot of water because it's hot and you're going to need, you can't imagine how many bottles of water you will go through in a short amount of time. So, but that's that. They have in the main hall there is a game room. Some classic video games, some modern video games. If that's your thing, you want to spend some time in there, you can do that. They have the dining hall in there as well. So they have the usual things. Breakfast, you'll have your bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich on a bagel, pancakes, the Mickey waffles. They have all the beverages in there that you can get. Like I said, coffee, water, orange juice, sodas, whatever. Dinner's usually, they got pizzas in there, chicken nuggets and stuff for the kids. I had a bacon cheeseburger one night, which was pretty good actually. So it's not going to be the gourmet food that you're going to get at restaurants and stuff like that, but if you don't feel like spending $150, depending on how many people you have in your family, if you don't feel like breaking the bank, going out for a night of dinner, that's the place to go, because they really, and I don't know, I think a burger was like $15. So as opposed to if you go to Disney Springs, your burger might cost you like $25. So, that's the only thing I can say about that. But yeah, the Classic Hall, like I said, it's convenient. Depending on where you stay, it can be a convenient location on the place, because that's where you're basically going to keep going to get your refills and your food and stuff. So if you do come to stay, I would suggest staying somewhere closer to that. We're staying in the 50s building, but we had a preferred room which was a little bit closer to the hall. So the 70s location is basically there. So those are the two rooms, those are the two basic sections that are right there. The 70s room is also close to the Skyliner, which I'll get into a little bit longer. So the Skyliner is a savior to get to two of the parks. So I would suggest the 70s room if that's, because you got dinner on one side and you got the transportation on the other. So that's my little tip for that. Now, okay, so back on it, I misspoke there. I said the 70s room was the rooms where the ones to get. It's actually the 60s. That's the one that is centrally located, because I remember it being like the hippity dippity pool and stuff like that that they got there, and I don't know, I for some reason associated that with the 70s, but the 60s, that is the room that you want to be centrally located. Right as soon as you come out of the Classic Hall, you have pedals, pool bar that you can get adult beverages, mixed drinks, stuff like that. So if you craving an adult beverage near the pool to quench the thirst and the heat, they have them there. And there is also, around the bend from the pedals bar, is a laundromat. Now it is a coinless, dollarless laundromat. I don't know how it works because I haven't used it, but it is run by some app. So I guess you scan a QR code with the app and you pay through the app to do your laundry. That's out of my range of technology, so that's why I don't mess with it. But for those that are out there that want to do laundry when they're in Disney, you have to download an app and pay through that, and you'll have your clothes sparkling clean. Okay, so there, I believe, are 3 pools in Pop Century. You have access to all 3 pools, and from what I've been told, you actually have access to the Art of Animation pools as well. So, not that you want to walk all the way over to Art, it's not that far, but why exert the energy to walk all the way over there when you have a pool centrally located by your hotel room? And then you could just jump in, and that's that. Instead of you're going to walk a half a mile to go into a different resort, you might, if you want to see what the Finding Nemo resort is all, the Finding Nemo pool is, which is kind of cool actually, because we were in there last year, year before, and it was cool. Art of Animation is a nice place. I'll get into that in a little bit, but let's see here. 1, 2, 3. Yes, 3 pools. One is in the 80s and 90s section, one is in the 60s section, and one's in the 50s section. So the 60s and the 70s, you're basically sharing the 60s pool, which is no big deal. So now each strip, each hotel section, I don't know, they're all about 4 levels high. They're like motel kind of, motel looking, almost like a T kind of, 4 stories high. At the end of each building section, they have a staircase that is of some design. So like I'm staying in the 50s, they have the bowling pins. So as you go, if you don't want to take the elevator, that's inside. You want to walk the steps, you can spiral your way up a bowling pin, which is pretty cool because if you know me, I'm a bowler and that's my deal. So it's kind of cool. And the pool in the 50 section is in the shape of a bowling pin. The outside area looks like the lanes with the arrows and stuff. So they try to do the detail as best as they can to make it look authentic, but you know, it is what it is. Anyway, so each area is colored different. Like this, again, in the 50s, it's pink. There's records all over it. You'll see Lady and the Tramp. And they actually have in the main middle part of the section by the pool is like a ginormous old jukebox thing that you would see at the diner with the turning pages that has the list of all the songs and stuff on it. So that's it's pretty cool how, what I do like about the pop and the art of animation is they do the theming of each section well. So that's the thing, is you can spend, like I remember my first time I stayed here, I brought my daughter around and we spent like whatever, an afternoon just walking around taking pictures of everything, because there's a lot of interesting, cool things to look at here. So I'll try to break down whatever I can without going into too much detail. But yeah, 50s room, you'll see a big statue of Lady and the Tramp and the jukebox and all of, you know, all whatever 50s themes that they can come up with here is just pretty cool. And then when you walk over to the next section, which is the 60s, that's the one I got mixed up with the 70s, but hey, I'm new at this. I don't have this all memorized. They have, so with the 50s, you had the bowling pins on the sides. Same thing, well, not same thing, but 60s, 4 stories, but it has the yo-yos. So if you choose not to take the elevator, you can spiral around up into a yo-yo, which is kind of sharp. And then, like I said, you got the pool. I think it's shaped in a flower. I want to say it's shaped in a flower. And it has flower sprinklers on, I don't know, 4 sides of it. So you can, as you're swimming around, you get the extra little spritz of the water fountains on you, which is kind of close. I don't think the other two pools don't have that. So I think that's what makes the center pool the more interesting one, only for the water jets that they have on there. And I believe there is a kids pool on the 60s. That is the only kids pool that I saw, because I know the 50s we were in there didn't have one. So, and in the 60s section they do have movie nights. I'm pretty sure they're listed by the pool, so you know which movies they're playing on a day-to-day basis. Art of Animation, I think, has that too, but they usually do that by a campfire, I think, if I remember correctly. Not 100% sure, but so in the 60s you'll see all kinds of flowers and stuff like that of the time, the peace signs and stuff. You'll see Baloo and Mowgli statue, big Play-Doh statues, and yes, you do have the kids pool. So out a little bit in a different gated section right next to it is a kids pool. It's like a splash zone. Now, I wouldn't necessarily call it a pool, but it is like a splash zone for the kids to play, get wet. Like we're probably talking toddlers and up to maybe age 4, 5, I don't know. But it's there if you want them to engage in that. So when you're going through the heart of the 60s is where you get to the Skyliner. Now, the Skyliner is basically the lifeline of the transportation to two parks. So when you come here, you need to take the Skyliner to Hollywood Studios and Epcot. Magic Kingdom, Animal Kingdom, you still take the busing system. No idea if they're going to extend future plans to extend the Skyliner, but for now, I guess to ease the busing congestion, they have the Skyliner. And when it works, it's a beautiful thing. Pretty sure in high winds and thunderstorms and heavy rains and stuff like that, it may not run. So if you're up in it, and like I have no idea what they would do if all of a sudden a flash thunderstorm comes rolling through and you're up in it. I don't think they would just stop it and wait until the storm passes through. I would hope they would get everybody off or don't put any new people on until the storm subsides. I was on it one time where it did get stuck, but that was just a mechanical problem. And eventually we did get off. But again, like I said, when it's working properly, it's awesome. Because you're not waiting for the bus to come. Getting there, you're not waiting for the bus to come back to pick you up to get back to the resort. It's just, you walk, you hop on the thing, it brings you Hollywood Studios, and like I said, Epcot. And then the other two, Magic Kingdom, Animal Kingdom, you still have to take the bus system, which is just go back through the classic hall. And they have everything marked up out there where to line up when the next buses are coming. So it's all laid out perfectly. You can't really get lost. The buses usually run, I was told for Magic Kingdom, that they run usually like every 20 minutes or so. So if you run out there and you just miss one, there will be one relatively short, a short amount of time to come back around to get you. So, yeah, but I didn't have, the busing system is still good. You know what I mean? You do have to wait from time to time. Like when we left to come back to Magic Kingdom, we did miss, coming back from Magic Kingdom, we did miss the bus. But, we waited about 20 minutes or so, 25 minutes, and it finally came and got us back. So that's the only drawback of the current busing systems that are still there. But again, you got to, plan that into your day. But the Skyliner is awesome. And if you keep walking down, if you pass the Skyliner and just keep walking through, that connects you into Art of Animation. And like I said, I think I was told that you can utilize those pools. So if you wanted to go into there, you can. Or if you just wanted to explore the grounds of Art, I highly recommend that, because they have the Nemo section, the car section. I'm sure I can't remember all the sections, but I know they are worth looking at. I think Lion King section, they had a Little Mermaid section. So, and the statues over there are well done, well spread out amongst the resort. So if you're staying in Pop, it's a little bit cheaper to stay at Pop than it is Art of Animation, probably because Art's a little bit newer than Pop, and it could be because of the way it's themed, so Art could be a little bit more pricier. However, there's nothing wrong with Pop. I love Pop. You can stay at Pop, and if you want to go and just check out the scenery around Art, you can do that, walk around. But if you want to have that, if you want to stay, you spend the extra couple dollars, and you stay inside there, and you can get your theme. Like I stayed 2 years ago in the Little Mermaid room, which was awesome. It was all themed out inside, Ariel everywhere, The only problem with that was it was further away from the Skyliner and further away from the central dining area. So that was the only drawback with that. So, but if you stay, I think the Nemo room is the central location one over there. That would probably be the primo section to stay. Now, I think these, and I just want to say, like, the rooms, I think the rooms are only, I'm a family of 3, and we fit perfectly in there. I don't think they have much bigger rooms to utilize for bigger families. So I think like a family of 4, you would be fine here. But if you had like a family of 5, it's probably not gonna, these 2 resorts may not be able to, you may not be able to fit in there because it might be a little too cramped and stuff. So pay that in mind too. If you got a larger family, you might have to find a different resort. But if you're, family of 4 or under, these would be perfect. Like I said, I'm 3 and we fit fine in this room we got this year, and I enjoy it. It's comfortable. There's enough room, to get around. It's just a room, because let's put it this way: you're in Disney. How often are you going to be in your room? You're going to be at the parks. You're going to be in the pool. You're going to be walking around. So the room basically for me is just hold my stuff until I get back to go to bed. So, okay, let's continue on the journey. Okay, so coming out of the 60s area, but I mentioned they're like a yellowish orange building. We come over to the 70s building, which has the 8-track tapes as the stairwell. So it blocks the stairwell, but they all have different record labels on each of the 8-track tapes, which is cool. So, and it's all green themed, green buildings with all decorations from the 70s. Looks like the really, really high top shoes, your disco stuff. And the like. You have, as far as statues, there was Goofy with a surfboard hanging out there, so take some pictures of him. They have a section for Twister if you want to play some Twister. Excuse me. Sorry. Excuse me. Sorry. I'm trying to do this while I'm navigating and not trying to run people over at the same time. Anyway, back to you have the big section here with the foosball players, this is the part I love about the 70 section. Can't play it, but it's big life-size playing field of the foosball. And you have a gigantic big wheel, and you have a gigantic Mickey telephone standing there. So plenty of picture opportunities over here to do. It's a pretty cool section. No pool, but it makes up for it with the decorations throughout this section. Kind of cool. And like I said, you got the 8-track tapes on each corner. That's their theme in this one. They do have smoking sections if you are a smoker, there are smoking sections. In order to find those, you can locate them on the directories. There are directories basically everywhere in the complex so that you know where you're going, A, and then B, where you can have a smoke if you partake in that stuff. So yeah, I don't think you can just like light them up and smoke wherever you want. Got to go to those designated areas. So I'm around the back of the 70 section. I'm coming up to a big Rubik's Cube. Now, I don't want to misquote which ones these are. I'm going to say they are the 80s. Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head. Iconic characters. They're there for your photo ops. And let me get to the directory so I can make sure the Rubik's Cubes are, yeah, I think they're the 80s. Let's go with the 80s. If they're not, I'll correct myself. But the Rubik's Cube, so again, if you don't want to take the elevator, you want to go up, you can walk in a Rubik's Cube. That seems, I don't see any real big statues on this. It might be on the inside of the complex, but I'm not seeing anything. Bear with me. Outside of Mr. Potato Head and Mrs. Potato Head. Okay. I'll be back. Okay, so yes, we're in the 80s section, and they have little Pac-Mans, the ghosts from Pac-Man, on the buildings. The photo ops here would be the big, gigantic sports Walkman, and they're kind of connected over by the 90s room, so it looks like they're basically right next to each other, because this is where you have the third pool, and it is basically trying to be either laptop or a computer, because it's a square pool, and there's a big keyboard that goes right before it, and right next to the pool is a big statue of Roger Rabbit, which is pretty sharp, I must say. So like I said, there's a lot of photo opportunities here. Very interesting themes. Very worth the walk around to do it. At the pools, they do have. Sorry if I'm all over the place, but as I'm walking, I'm just seeing stuff. At the pools, they do have the beach chairs and stuff that you can stay in. Obviously, it's first come, first serve. There are towels. You can pick up the towels, and then when you're done, they have a bin to return them. There are life preservers, life jackets for the little ones. The pool only goes, I want to say, not even 5 foot at its deepest. It's usually about like 3 foot to maybe 4'6", 4.5 feet. So that's usually, so just to let you know, it's not like you're going into a 10-foot pool. That's not going to happen. But yeah, everything's there located at the pool that you need. And the pool right now, the hours are, I think it was, I don't know, I want to say 10 a.m. to like 11 p.m. So they are open till 11 p.m. There are lifeguards on duty. There's usually, I don't know, 2 to 3, depending on the size of the pool. And they are paying attention at all times. I give them that. They are making sure that every guest is safe and there are no issues in the pool. So we're coming out of that, and we're going to, I guess this has to be the 90s section, because it's all computer stuff and inline roller skates. I want to see what's on the end, because the Rubik's Cube's on the 80s. The 90s have, dun 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 dun. I got to get to the front of it, bear with me. It is, it looks like a cell phone. Yes, it would be the old, I guess the 90s, like the original cell phones that we would have. Not the current little tiny ones, the old big ones, if you're old enough to know, if you were around in the 90s in your 20s and you had one of the original cell phones, you know what I'm talking about. Those things were big. So that's the 90s and stuff. So again, I guess to sum it up and wrap it up, it is a good family resort. It's nicely priced, I think, because I keep coming back here. It's affordable, and I would keep coming back here, and I would suggest people to come here because of the price. There's other places that you can stay outside of Disney. You may pay more, you may pay less. However, if you stay outside of Disney and you want to go to the parks, you're going to have to get your own. You're going to have to rent your own car, and that's a problem because car rentals right now are expensive. And when you park at the resort, you're going to pay to park your car at the resort per day. So for me, the freedom of not having to drive in Florida and just stay on property is gold. So yeah, the last couple times, no need for a car. Land, Mears takes me here, boom, I stay on the property, I leave, I get the Mears shuttle back to the airport, and we're gone. So it is very convenient. So like I said, the app is a must, and I would stay on property. Now, you do have other property. There are other Disney properties that are around there. They might be a little bit more expensive, and I think they have their own little transportations too. I think Port Orleans has like little ferry boats that you can take to some of the parks. Not all, but some. So there's that too. So, you know, you have to do a little bit of research into what you're looking for. But if you are looking for some really cool themed, you know, rooms and stuff, this is the place to be. So, and they do have, again, I'm scatterbrained going all over the place. They do have soda machines and ice machines in your, near your section of your rooms in your, you know, in your hotel strip, wherever you're staying. They will have, you know, soda machine, but I think it's like $4.50 for a soda. So just pay that in mind as well. They do have ice machines, so you can get, they provide you with an ice bucket in your room, fill up the ice, bring it back into the room. There's a mini fridge inside the room. It's not going to turn your water to ice, but it will keep it cold enough to be refreshing. There's a safe in the room, and obviously the shower has 2 shower heads on it, which is nice. The safe's there. You do have some room in the drawers for your clothes if you want to take your clothes out of the bags. There is a small little space for hanging stuff. They give you maybe, I don't know, 12 hangers if you want to hang some stuff up and get the wrinkles out. So there's that. But yes, I highly suggest, if you're coming to Florida, if you're thinking about coming to Florida, Pop Century, Art of Animation. Now, you may have to book these ahead of time because availability can be tricky, you know, so depending on when you're going. I have a travel agent. If you have a travel agent, have them look into it, but I would book it out probably a year ahead of time because these places can book up real quick. And then, you know, especially if you do want the preferred rooms that are closer to the pools, closer to the main dining hall and stuff like that, those will book up really quick. So if you don't care, then yeah, you could probably get one maybe 6 months out, but you're gonna just be prepared to do a little bit extra walking. So, well, I think that's about it. I think I'll wrap it up. I hope that was entertaining and interesting to people to get my take on Pop Century. And we'll see you next time.
Thank you again for Dave for doing this for us. Excellent episode. I think so. Let us know what you thought. And if you want to hear more episodes like this, join us on the social networks, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, where we could be all found at WD Magicast. Just like I said, beginning of the show, YouTube as well. We got some stuff up on there. You can leave us a voice message as well, and you can be heard on the show. You can do this through the Anchor app or Anchor.fm website. Links to all these are in the show notes. I want to thank you for your time. I know how little time we all have these days, and the fact that you spent some of it with us together means a lot to us over here at WD Magicast. Thank you so much. Please help us out some more. Share a link out to the show on the social networks and make sure to tag us so we can thank you personally and so other people can hear about it. Or if you really want to help us out, go to Apple Podcasts or Stitcher and leave a rating and review. The more reviews that we get, the more that they promote the show. We have all 5-star reviews at the moment. Keep them coming. We could always use more. You can just give us a 5-star rating, or you can also type a review as well. Either one is completely acceptable and helpful. Helps grow the family. It really helps us out in the long run. Make sure you tell your Disney friends about it. Tell them word of mouth, or like I said, on social media. Walt believed in a big Disney family, and so do I. Don't forget to subscribe to the show while you're at it. This way you always know when a new episode is posted. I've been a little delayed with getting things out. Schedules personally been a little crazy. But we're still pumping out episodes. But if you really want to help us out, keep things going, you can do this over at anchor.fm/WDMagicCast support, where you can financially help us out, because hey, fortunately this stuff isn't free. And if you want to bring us more movie reviews and stuff like that, we could always appreciate and use your help. And like I said, the merchandise shop at the beginning of the episode on TeePublic. Great stuff to find there. Not just t-shirts, but phone cases, magnets, bags, all sorts of awesome stuff. Make sure to check it out. Links to all these are in the show notes as well. Because remember, this show is brought to you by listeners like you. In Japan, broken objects are often repaired with gold. The flaw is seen as a unique piece of the object's history, which adds to its beauty. Consider this the next time you feel broken. Never give up, never give in on yourself. Be your own hero, and let your light shine for everyone to see. Now I'd like to end this week's show with a quote from Walt Disney himself. Here in Florida, we have something special we never enjoyed at Disneyland: the blessing of size. There's enough land here to hold all the ideas and plans we could possibly imagine. Again, that's Walt Disney. Thank you for listening again, everyone, and I'll see you next time.